Hi, I'm Mike Peterson from Brown Harris Stevens. The Hamptons runs on relationships, and over the years, I've built a network of top-tier professionals who operate at the highest level. Mic Hamptons is your access point to that world, the people, the insights, and the opportunities behind it all. Welcome to another episode of the Mic Hamptons podcast. We are powered by the HNG Networking Group, Hamptons Networking Group, which is hngli.com. If you want to check us out, we are a group of about 30 odd professionals. We're located in the Hamptons. We service the Hamptons, and it's a variety of folks. I'm a real estate agent. I work for Brown Harris Stevens of the Hamptons, and we have master plumbers, electricians, etc. throughout the group. It's one seat per profession, and we have an interior designer for the stars who's here today to visit with us. This is Samantha Colon from Husky Design Build. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So it's funny, when you first joined, I was trying to think, having a person engaged on a weekly basis. This is all about referrals. Like, how do I get this, out to people? Who should I ping? And it seems like H&G's kind of taken a world of its own with you. You've got a bunch of different projects going on right now. Can I ask you, I'm going to start at the end and ask you to make that the beginning. Could you just tell us about a couple of the projects that you're working on or have worked on with the group?
Sure. There's quite a few going on right now. One in the past that we had completed was a kitchen in Spionk. That was a first referral in the group. I'm also currently working on a investment property with one of the members in the group. And it started off with 4 bathrooms, and then all of a sudden it kind of flourished into a larger package when understanding the services that I provide and how helpful that it is. So it continued to grow for that. And working with another member in the group on their personal home, of seeing what we can do with the space and taking on his vision for it, what he wants to do, and how we can make that come true.
I know that Rick's purchase in Southampton of an investment property, he's really excited to work with you. And so I know all the CAD design work has been completed. They're filing with the town, and so now Joe's going to take over very shortly as soon as all the permits are in place. And that's going to be a fun exercise, because I think at least 12 or 14 people in the group are going to all participate in that, which is something I'm very excited to highlight. So now we'll go back to the beginning. So how did you come about with the name of Husky Design Build? You've got your husband is a partnership with your husband, so you do the interior design, and David does a lot of the other work, the build work. Could you maybe elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. So our company started as Husky Construction. My husband developed it when he was working for others and saw that they were doing clients a disservice, and it didn't align with him properly. So he started Husky Construction first, and it started based off our dog. And she is part of the family. She's one of my babies. We now have 2 of them. And I was doing design for him on the side while working for others. And we found such a collaboration between the 2 of us and how smoothly projects were going that he eventually looked over to me and he goes, "We got to make this bigger." And he wanted to pull me out of my 9 to 5. And once he did that, we rebranded to be Husky Design Build, a true design build company, all in-house.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think you have maybe a little background for everybody. You have some kids, and what's going on at home, the rest of it?
I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. Her name is Delilah. She is the light of my world. I also have 2 huskies, Leah and Baker. One's 7 and one is 4. But as of right now, that is my family.
All right. A bunch of notes here and questions, but one of the things that I was thinking about, what's one of the first things you notice when you walk into a space?
Honestly, I sense how my body is reacting to this space because ultimately it speaks to you whether you realize it or not. And I really take into consideration the surroundings, how it's laid out, the space, exits, egress. That's kind of the thing that goes on in the background. And then it's truly how the environment is reflecting me. You can walk into a space and all of a sudden you feel your body just go, and it tenses up. Or you could walk into a space and your body relaxes. When you really start to pay attention to that, you could really see how these spaces influence you. So every time I step into that, I just take a moment to let it all sink in. I look around, I see my surroundings, I see how everything is laid out. It's almost as if I'm just downloading the floor plan of a space and I take that all in.
Okay. So I know what the answer is going to be to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So you feel like design can reduce stress levels?
It can. Spaces hold energy and it really changes you. Colors change you, clutter changes you, even materials within the space. When you use inexpensive materials, they don't feel as natural and safe. But when you walk into, just say, a bathroom that's all full of marble, you feel the vibration of the stone in itself, and it's just so soothing and comforting
Sure.
that it really changes the energy within the room.
Nice. So I guess a couple more questions.
Yeah.
I think it's important to get specific questions for what you do because you are integral to especially the world out here. When you say, I had a question about, you've often spoken about that design and construction are braided together from the beginning. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So while navigating this field, I've always saw such a disconnect between the design industry and the construction industry. So when we formed our company, we really wanted to create it as one. Because when you braid design and construction together, you create such a seamless transition from start to finish. People take on projects and they start with a contractor and they dive right in. There's no plan in place and things are getting revised multiple times, or the client could feel so
It
chaotic
drives up
because there's
costs.
exactly. So when design and construction are braided from the forefront and you have two professionals looking at the project at the beginning, you're getting covered from both ends. You could see how the space is going to function, how it's going to be visualized at the end of it, but then you also have construction and means and methods, scheduling, timelines, and pulling all the trades together. So when they're both going hand in hand at the same time, there's no disconnect. Everyone's on the same page and there's so much more clarity than when you first start and then you're starting to ask all of these questions or you don't know what's going where.
Interesting. Okay.
So having it braided truly makes that difference in the design build world.
Yeah, we've started to engage with a couple of clients together about early days. If I'm, especially with fixer uppers, you're working with an existing space, and so I always say it every week in front of the group, and I believe this to be true. There's a lot of value in the Hamptons, believe it or not, but you have to create it yourself. So you can find homes that are, were amazing back in 1990, and now it's changed, or the way that the flow is created, or roof lines, or what have you. And to engage with someone like yourself, and what I think is fun and exciting is before someone signs on the dotted line to go into contract to make a purchase, to actually get someone like you to come in and weigh in, or Fernando, with his architectural design, CAD design work. It really allows people to be creative. At the end of the day, it's not that people aren't creative, but most of my customers are coming from New York City. They work in financial services to a large extent. They're successful at what they do, but they're not used to, thinking outside the box. And I think that's a fun part of our group and working together, is to try to help people understand, what's coming down the road. You don't charge for those consultations. Obviously, if the goal is be great to be hired at the end of the day, but helps me in my process, in my sales process. And obviously, it's we can see that it's working in the group because everybody's benefiting from it all. So this is sorry, this is about you, not me.
No, that's perfect.
So this is an odd question, but it's something I was thinking about. What do you think is broken with the construction industry right now?
Communication.
Okay.
Is it communication between all trades. Everyone, I've been on multiple job sites. I've been doing this, honestly, since my whole life. I've been in this industry. And I've worked with others and I've worked with my own company. And I truly see the difference because I could go on job sites and trades are not talking to each other. And at the end of the day, you want a team that everybody is talking with each other, and that if they see something out of line, or like the electrician sees something that the plumber may have missed and vice versa, everyone can help each other. There's an end goal to protect the project, but I've been seeing that everyone's trying to protect themselves, and I understand that. But it's the communication of making sure that everything is all aligned from the jump. Because it's not, and when you don't start on a foundation, the whole project's just out of whack.
So again, it does really warm my soul that when I hear that, so like Dan Spring, who does swimming pools for our group, how often he and Jason, who's a tier 1 electrician, liaise with each other, and obviously you do as well.
Yep.
So, but that's the whole premise of the whole group, is that if you're really engaged with certain subcontractors, I guess would be the best way to describe it, that are going to show up, or hey, I've got this quick change, can you run over and handle it? I love it. It just seems like it's smoothed out the process for a lot of folks.
It really does. And you talk about Big Sky, and I love working with him. He's our electrician, and the communication between him and I is, we are talking about the project before it even starts. And I'm not an electrician, and I like to always refer to the specialists in those areas. And it's like, I might have an idea and he can bring a different approach to it, or vice versa. And we can talk out something that, if there's an existing condition on site or before we start a project, what is that best approach? Having that communication before that project starts, or even during it, is key for it. And he's just one of the vendors that is honestly love.
I often think of Jason. He's what a great guy, number one. But I think if there are 33 members currently in the group, I think he's done work or had references from at least 30.
Yeah.
And then Dan Springs obviously done the same thing, but and also Brian from Maximum Environmental. He's a master plumber, and I was blown away. He said that he had gotten business from absolutely everybody in the group, which I think is really exciting. And it could be, he was at my house the other day fixing my outdoor shower, but it's also, if you're building from scratch and you need a plumber that's going to liaise with, with a builder and interior design, at the end of the day, it really does make all sense in the world to just have that going from the beginning.
It does.
So, what a great idea. So, I'm trying to think, these are some other thoughts that I had. Why do you think clients often feel overwhelmed during construction?
That's a very good question. There's so much that goes on to a project that no one quite understands the process, especially clients, where there could be, and I'll just talk residential for a second.
Yeah.
There could be like 150 decisions just in a bathroom alone, and that's a small size. So now imagine a full-scale home built from the ground up. There's so many moving parts that there's no organization for the client in itself, so they get overwhelmed. Or they'll go to a store and want to select finishes and fixtures, and there's so many options to choose from.
Yeah.
And a builder will come, if without a designer, a builder will come in and they'll build it whatever you want. But it's who's holding the hand for the client and going over all the smaller details for it. So there's just so much, and construction moves so fast that clients kind of want that to slow down, but builders want to keep that going. So clients just feel so chaotic during that whole process. I've been through it myself.
Me too.
And I've planned it. I feel that chaos for it, and that's what I always try to remove with every project that I come on, because it doesn't have to be that way. And I feel like there's such a stigma to this industry that we're looking to change, because it doesn't have to be chaotic. It doesn't have to be upside down. You don't have to have a million change orders, and everything can be decided before you swing that hammer. And I'm very adamant on that.
Yeah, and I think one thing I've certainly learned from you more than anything else is that if you're engaged with a client, it's it's those like liaising with the builder, whether it's your company. I know that you work with Joe Rafis at Constant Solutions. You guys have been doing projects together as well, which speaks volumes about who you are and how everybody likes and trusts you. But at the end of the day, it is like something that really needs to be stressed is the cost savings. If you actually keep in mind what you're doing, everyone kind of thinks of you in the end.
Yes.
Right. And that's not really the way to do it. Right. You really want to be, how's it going, what's the flow and feel of the house going to be? So
Exactly.
I think about Rex as well. So Rex is in our group, Premier Systems Design. They do whole house smart home systems, and it's really like he really should be there when you're pouring the foundation, or if you're doing a fixer up, or when you open up the walls. That's when you want to have someone like that in there. That's going to be, and you want to tell them where it should go, and he'll make it work.
Exactly, and I can't speak for Rex either, but there are certain pieces of his equipment that need to be accounted with HVAC, with electrical, and if that's an afterthought, then it just creates more confusion on site, or you're not going to get the design that you need from the get-go. And that's why I always say bring in designers, bring in someone like Rex all the way at the beginning. You might not need us. Well, sorry, you might need me, but you might not need certain specialties right away, but you want them to have their head at the start of every project so that they're looking out for your best interest. Because at the end of the day, I know for myself that I'm always looking out for the client, and I'm always protecting them, and I'm protecting their investment. So when you have everything out on the table, you know all your costs, you know how long it's going to take a trade to do something, you know what they need. And you can listen to what the clients might need in the future, and then you can implement that at the beginning. They might not necessarily need it right now, but everything is future-proofed for you.
Yeah,
when that time comes.
I mean, just to have those conversations, getting people to think about stuff from the beginning, as opposed to coming in the middle or the end and trying to retrofit something, put a round peg in the square hole. It's a lot harder that way, and you never get exactly what you want for sure. But ultimately, they're going to compromise, and I'm not throwing stones, but it just would make more sense and obviously be more efficient money wise to just think about this from the beginning as opposed to later on in the process.
Exactly.
So thank you for teaching me all those wonderful
You're
things.
welcome.
So Husky Design and Build, what makes you different from the traditional design and construction model? How's that?
That's a good question. Now you're making me think about this one. I always say we're true design and build because we are in-house. It's not two separate entities that are then coming together for a joint venture. It's starting off as one from the very get-go. What also makes us a little different is we are a husband and wife duo. So the way that we think and we operate, we can finish each other's thoughts and sentences, and we know what everyone's looking for. So when we take on a project, we're both going at the same time to this consultation, and we're both looking at the project from different perspectives. And the way that we communicate on both sides, each side's always overlooking the process, whether build is needed at the forefront right now or after that design process.
Okay.
And for this true design build, it's when we come in, we understand what the client's budget is and what they're looking to invest in. And the build side goes, it's going to cost X, Y, and Z. So then I now know what I need to stay within in terms of design to make the client's vision come true. So we are always communicating back and forth every stage of the process.
Nice. Well, I'll take that. So why do design and construction often feel disconnected? I think we kind of touched on this before, but I feel like, you have thoughts there?
Why do they feel disconnected? We did touch upon that earlier about the miscommunication of it. No, I don't have anything else to add.
That's all good. And I get, one thing that I always feel like when I'm talking to folks, they always feel like they're overwhelmed. They start a project and have no idea. Is there, any last minute tips for folks that are going down this route to ease them through the process to get involved?
Hire the specialists. They're really going to make your life 10 times easier. And just make sure you have a plan in place and a vision. If you are starting a renovation project, a new build, anything, bring visuals to the table. Visuals are very helpful in any project because it allows everyone to truly see what you're thinking. Because if a builder is coming into a client or a designer and they just say, I want X, Y, and Z, we might have a different perspective on that than what the client is looking for. So when they provide visuals, you get a better understanding of what they're truly looking for, and you can execute that flawlessly.
Nice. I know that Rex's friend at Porcelanosa, who's couldn't make it to the meeting today, but is keenly interested in getting more involved with us and possibly joining. So this is kind of out of just thinking aloud here. You know, how would you want her to engage with the group? What do you see in that? Like, are you that she come? Because I often wonder, like, if I'm sitting at I know Porcelanosa pretty well. If I'm sitting there, will I often go to people's homes to see like what's really going to look great? I mean, it's kind of stepping on, but would you coordinate with them on this?
I would. So every vendor offers something different. And when designing, especially when I design, not every client is the same. So the designs are always going to differ. So when you have a vendor like Porcelanosa, they have so many different varieties and you can pull anything for any client. So it is very helpful to have someone like that in the group because they can show you new products. They can help guide you on where it should be going. Honestly, I think she'd make a great addition to the team as well and provide great
1000%.
knowledge to it.
Yeah, it's so complimentary for everything that we're doing.
It is.
So I think on that note, I would like for you to let everybody know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah,
So
sure. So you guys can check out our website at huskydesignandbuild.com or our Instagram page. Our handle is at huskydesignandbuild. And I also have another Instagram handle. It's called The Luxury Designer, and we focus just a little bit more on the interiors. So you could check that all out. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Wanted to say to everybody, thank you for tuning into another episode of Mic Hamptons, powered by the H&G Group. And again, if you are in need of any help in the Hamptons or need design work or want to be connected with any kind of service providers or anything, please reach out. I know a guy, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey, this is Michael. Thanks for listening to Mic Hamptons, powered by the Hamptons Networking Group, where the right people make the right things happen. If you're planning anything in the Hamptons, buying, selling, building, hosting, or investing, don't do it alone. Tap into our network of vetted, top-tier service providers who get things done at the highest level. And if real estate is part of your plan, I bring deep knowledge, strong network, and a track record of getting deals done the right way. Reach out anytime. We'll see you on the next one. You can call, text, or DM me right now, or visit my website to get connected. I work with a tight network, and the best deals go to the people who move first. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next deal. Keep making moves.